It's Danny and Kevin, the podcast.
Podcast number 7. And we have a special guest today.
Our first guest. Give it up for Kelbin. Kelbin, welcome to the ball pit.
Thank you so much. I knew I was going to feel immediately comfortable around so many balls. Lots and lots of balls. And I was gonna say this too. It looks like the damn United Nations here in this ball pit. It's great. We are representing every single country.
We just checked every box.
Every single box, baby.
I love all of it. Yes. Yes.
Whose foot is that? Actually, is that a leg, a foot, or is that a pelvis?
It's a little bit more crowded in the ball pit this week. This is my foot rubbing.
Yeah. But like, wait, when Danny did that, though, she went like this. She went, "This is my foot rubbing." now we know where Jules gets it from.
All right.
I know, right?
Whatever. So if you guys don't know, Kelbin Live, he does radio. Yeah. He's a radio personality. We worked with him. He actually was in Miami. Mm-hmm. And you're leaving Miami to go to North Carolina.
Sweet. That's a big call.
Yeah, how is the move and everything been going?
Thanks for clarification.
Hey, Danny, can you talk into the mic?
I am talking into the mic.
No, you're just...
I have a small voice.
You're just screaming really loud to get to the mic.
What else is new?
I have a very small voice.
She's just throwing her voice from across the field.
Well, I don't know. I can't get it any closer to me. This is really like up my hoo-ha right now.
Ooh. Oh, wow. That
Been there.
All right. This is getting interesting already. I like that.
It's ridiculous. So, Kelvin, how's the move been going?
The move has been very chaotic.
Like this podcast.
Literally.
This podcast. It's been super chaotic. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was going to be really easy. We stacked a lot of boxes and...
That's Kelvin. Kelvin, what is this noise that we hear?
That's my poor baby dog. My golden retriever. He's crying because we put him in the kitchen because he's like a hot ass mess. But I'm sure it'll be fine. Back to the move.
Not our kitchen.
Like, I just want to let y'all know, we created a barricade in my kitchen for him. Yes. And he's a big dog. And there's light boxes that are in the front, but it completely ruined him. He's not... he could push through those boxes if he really wanted to.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that yet. It's psychological. He's still a baby.
He's like, boxes.
So when you finally unpack in North Carolina and all the boxes around, he's just going to look at him and like start barking at him.
But the good thing is, we know he's still in the kitchen. Right?
You think. Right. He's actually upstairs right now.
Hopefully.
Yeah. The minute he gets out of there, it's over. It's over.
When you see that door come down, like the Kool-Aid Man's coming through.
I don't even want to know what's going on outside right now.
Oh, yeah.
Honest. I don't. But okay. Anyways, continue, Kelvin.
So about the move.
So right.
It's been chaotic, honestly. In the beginning, it was easy. I felt like I had enough time. I only really had a month's notice. And just trying to find an apartment in a new city that I've never been to was terrifying. But we went over there. We saw 15 apartments. We came back and didn't sign any of them. Wow. And then by the time we came back, time was running out. A lot of the apartments weren't available for the time they wanted me to start for this new job. And we did a virtual tour and we ended up loving it. We found this apartment in downtown, and I've never done anything virtual like that, especially a huge life decision. But
how does that work? Like, does the real estate agent hold the camera, FaceTimes?
Literally, that's actually how it goes.
Yeah, that's actually what they do. Yeah.
Oh, that's
she
dope.
FaceTimes and she walks through. My best friend Erica does that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. She'll do that for people.
I got my real estate license right during COVID, and so my first showing was virtual, and I was like, this ain't for me. The money was, but you got to select 10 houses.
I could imagine you, though. You probably had, lighting. You probably...
Yeah. Well, like HGTV? I had that. No, I'm just kidding. I did have a ring light.
Yeah, that's funny.
So what would make you move from Miami to North Carolina?
No, I've had family live in North Carolina.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I have them in Winston-Salem, and we'd always go to visit for the holidays.
Winston-Salem, that's where the witch trial... No, that's Massachusetts.
That's Winston, Massachusetts.
Never mind.
Is it?
That's Salem, Massachusetts.
Or Salem, Massachusetts, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I feel like I've done some witchy stuff over there. But anyways, I've had family over there, and we've always gone for the holidays, and it was fun. But I never really saw myself living there at all because it's very different from Miami. Okay. But it wasn't until I realized I just wasn't happy with my job that it was time to just bounce. And the job that I actually took was to become an executive producer for the Miguel and Holly show.
That's amazing.
And they just went to iHeart. So it just kind of all really made sense for me. Like I felt so comfortable with doing this. And I also realized I don't know if I'm that crazy about hosting. I don't know. Like I almost like I love seeing people perform. I love seeing you guys do your podcast. I love seeing you guys do your own show. So for me, like, I'd always
your
like
own show isn't your thing. You don't think so?
I don't know if it's not my thing. I just don't think it's for me right now. I think the way that my career started, I was thrown into the fire, which I'm super grateful for. I got a lot of skills out of it.
Right.
But people wait like 10 years to do mornings in Miami. And for me, I only had like 2 years under my belt doing a weekend show. And I felt like it was a combination of luck and timing, but also I'll give myself some credit, you know, like I felt like I did a really good job within the time that I was at that old company. And now I just kind of want to step back and help produce and put in my ideas and put in my taste into it and let others perform and do their thing.
I mean, I'm always a big fan of like, it's always good to like keep learning, you know what I'm saying? And then like to the climate of like how amazing Miguel and Holly are, like as a show, just sitting in the background scenes and being their producer is a blessing altogether. Like,
you're gonna learn so much from them.
You know, you're gonna learn so much and be able to develop your own show one day. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe there'll be a time where you're like, I'm ready to like run this, you know, or you can stay there forever. Like, you know, because I'm pretty sure Miguel and Holly, they're like a family team. They're like, you in here, we not letting you go.
Right. They look after you for life. Like they still check up on us. They were like our morning show mentors. So they still like check up on us and they're like, okay, we see what you're doing and all that.
Solid.
So yeah. They're really, really, really good people.
I've been with them for 2 weeks virtually in Miami. And it's like a master class. Like it's so smooth, and I'm like, oh my god! But you can see the years that they put into the show. You know what I mean? Like that's not just overnight. So it's been great. I love it.
What are you most looking forward to about like this new journey? Because like obviously, like you said, it's a complete reset. Like North Carolina is different than Miami.
I was just
and then
gonna ask that
aren't
too,
you?
for real.
Aren't you?
It's very different.
Weren't you raised in Miami?
Yeah, born and raised.
You're born and raised in Miami.
Kendall.
So yeah,
so
I
you're
definitely.
leaving Florida. Like this is
This is you. This
culture
is
shock.
A huge culture shock.
Yeah?
I don't know. These last few months I've been like, damn, I really love South Florida. Like I really love that I live here. And to do this move, a lot of people are like, are you excited? Are you ready for this new change? And I'm not. And I don't know if I'm excited yet. I think when I'm settled in, then I'll know.
Right.
But for the most part, like the only experience that I've had sort of like this is when I went to college to UF. And I hated it the first month because I didn't have my tribe. I didn't have my friends. I didn't know anything about that city.
That's
Right.
Tallahassee?
No,
Gainesville.
Gainesville.
Get it
Okay.
right.
No.
Get it right.
The Ocala boy.
I'm from that area, so like you don't.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Listen, I'm from Point Siena, Florida.
We know.
we don't know.
We know.
The most
We know you're from Point San. You can't tell the difference between Gainesville and
the most I know is like Valencia College, which is the same
campus
thing as
is
like
that?
it's basically like FIU.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So for me, it wasn't until I got comfortable that I was like, okay, I love being here. Granted, it was a college town, so we'll see. Now I'm like moving as an adult, so it's different.
Right.
And I don't know. Will I make friends easily? Will I not? I don't know. But
is there any Latinos in North Carolina?
I have a funny story about that. I'm not going to generalize, but we went through a lot of tours. Went through a lot of apartments, and I was like, damn, where are the Latinos at? Like, where are they?
Yeah. That's great.
And honestly, I only saw them working at like the restaurants and stuff like that. And I was like, okay.
No, that's a real thing. That's a real, like when I first moved here, because basically what you're doing, I've done. I was in Atlanta and originally from there, and I moved to Albany, New York for my first gig. But eventually when I moved here, I was definitely culture shocked because Atlanta is a very black city.
Right.
And so, and then Atlanta is also socially segregated. So you have black, white, and then on this part of town, Mexican. That's literally it. So when I came down here,
I remember this, yeah.
And I saw all these different types of Spanish people and like all these different people that look so different, and all of them are speaking Spanish. I was like, as stupid as this sounds, and I'm going to put it out there, this sounds really, really dumb. As stupid as this sounds, in my little world, I was like, Spanish people, Mexican.
Yeah,
Because that's all I had experienced.
Yeah.
That's all you
But
knew.
then when I came here, and then Kevin's like, well, I'm half Puerto Rican. And then I met this other girl we worked with. She's like, well, I'm Colombian. And I met someone else, and they're like, well, I'm Venezuelan. And I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
Culture.
And I'm like, how do y'all look so? And I'm like, duh, they're all Spanish speaking countries, you idiot.
Yeah.
Like, duh.
No, but like I did the same thing because like I grew up in North Florida, so it's like, you know, I mean, it's like cornbread white, like I mean that's literally what you get, and then so like
Cornbread's yellow.
Extra flour.
but it's like extra dry. It's like extra dry, like no seasoning. And we know I don't season things. And but yeah, so like when I moved here, same thing.
Like
I was kind of like, you know, very exact same thing. I was like, oh, like my roommate Harold, we know Harold, he's Colombian, and I was like, wait a minute, like from South Carolina, he's like,
Oh, no.
and I was like, oh, right. There's like so many different places. Okay, gotcha.
Not that.
So same thing, but like Charlotte is yeah, it's a completely different
It's southern.
place.
My family's from North
Yeah.
Carolina, so I've never really been in South Carolina. I don't
They're
really know
very
much
similar.
about North Carolina.
They're very similar.
But South Carolina is.
No.
Heard.
My pops, like he used to be like scared of hurricanes, So he would drive us to South Carolina all the time, like while Florida's just getting bum rushed by everything. We're just watching.
You're
the
in
news,
Spartanburg, South Carolina, living it up at Wilson World.
That we
Living
would
with
go
AC.
we would go to south of the border, like right where it's between.
Oh, rest in peace.
Right, and then we would stay at a Days Inn. No joke. And my
Oh
dad
my
would turn on the
gosh.
news and be like, "If the hurricane tearing our house down, we'll come back to it." I'm gonna be in the middle of that. My dad used to always do that. Yeah, because he came from New York, so he was
Right.
like, you know,
They don't know.
yeah, basically.
How I don't know if the word is stressful, but how big of a feeling was it when you actually quit? Because again, you're in Miami. For people who do radio, for people who do media, for people who do, you know, these types of jobs, the bigger the market, the better.
Right.
You're in a top 20 market. You're in Miami, a sexy market at that. They
Yeah.
always say
Right.
Miami is like one of the sexy markets. Like LA is a sexy market. New York is a sexy market just because the cities and all that sound sexy, right?
Right.
So you're in a sexy market and you're like, you know what? I'm not happy here. I'm like, how was that decision for you?
Well, I wasn't making sexy money. So that definitely was a big thing. And I know corporate hates that. It's like, no, the money will come eventually. Go to the sales meetings and, you know, promote yourself and et cetera, et cetera. And for me, I think that was like the big breaking point. Like I was being taken advantage of in a way because the opportunity was amazing. I'm super
Right.
grateful for the opportunity. It gave me everything
Right.
in these 4 years. And I met incredible people. I got to meet you guys. I have to had great mentors like Kimmy, and I got to work with Al and a bunch of stuff. But for the most part, it was 3 jobs with a very terrible salary.
Right.
And after a while, I think I just wasn't being listened to. I started to try to make my own morning show and give it ideas, and they didn't want that. And this may come off shady, and people in the industry will be like, "Oh, like you shouldn't be saying this right now because
Right.
it'll look problematic." But
Yeah.
it's not problematic. Companies have a plan on what they want to do.
Correct.
And that's not up to me. I'm not in management, and that's fine. If they did not want to let me customize my show and pay me more, I get it. So that's why I give it 2 weeks, and that's the professional thing
Right.
to do. So I don't know why there's always such, you know, contention around this.
Right.
Right.
I feel
Yeah.
like people should be like more open
Yeah.
about stuff like that because
Absolutely.
it's real. Like for years, and I feel like there's a shift going on right now.
There
You
is.
know what I mean? Like for years, it's been I have to go to college, work hard, and then the last 5 years of my life, I'm gonna live it up.
Right.
I'm gonna work
Barely.
my life away.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I'm gonna go to, I'm gonna do this traveling and stuff like that. And I feel like starting at millennials and moving to Gen Z, we're now, and then because of COVID and, the great resignation and all that's
Yes.
happening, I feel like a lot of people are in a space now where they're like, no, I'm not. Even where I am right now, like me and Kevin have talked about this, like Kevin knows, like I love radio.
Yeah.
I will do this all day in my sleep. I love making people laugh. I love creating the content. I
Storytelling.
love everything about it. But when we got let go from Power, I was
Yeah.
like,
I don't know if I want to be back.
I was like,
I was just
I really do not, and I don't want this to sound wrong or whatever, but I really do not care if I'm never on the radio again.
You retired.
I
No,
don't
it's-
care.
Yeah.
Like if it
crazy.
happens, amazing.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't happen,
Yeah,
I'm not losing sleep. I genuinely do not care.
That's real. No, that's real. I met this guy named Westside. He's a DJ in Orlando, like really good people. And he asked me about it, like what I did, and I was like, honestly, bro, I cannot fathom the idea of waking up as early as I did after getting out of the club DJing to bust my ass, mentally telling myself, you have to smile and be happy right now. And that's another thing too. Like that was like with my mental, like, and Danny, and you've been through, you've witnessed me. Like there's times where I was really going through hardships in life, and like I had to make sure I hung it up at the front door and just did my fucking show. I'm sad. I'm just cursing a lot, but no, I just had to do that. I had to put a face on all the time. Yeah. And that sucks because it just makes it worse.
Right.
It's mentally draining. And like, I love radio to the death of me. And I feel like if I was to jump on the radio tomorrow, I still got it. Like I won't, like I'll never rust. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I can't fathom the idea of like busting my ass to just work, like get to a place where they're like, okay, well, we're gonna start here, and then we're just gonna build you here, and then this, like, it's like, nah, dude. Like,
it's so funny you say that because I remember, like, I left in 2020. I left. I had a really good job. Like, I liked my job. I loved the station, loved the people. But you get to a point.
Lead endorser of that.
I made so much money.
You were killing it on that.
Yeah, you were killing, because I remember when we were on the sister station. We wanted CJ with us so bad then. And we're like, yo, our PD then was Dennis Martinez. We're like, Dennis, I mean, you can move CJ. Like, it'll be cool if you move CJ. And he straight up told us, he was like, CJ is untouchable because CJ is the lead endorser. And CJ, you were like the favorite on that station. So it's like, no, you can't touch CJ.
But I was also at the same point where it's like, I started in radio at 16. So I was super young. I'd never done anything. Yeah. COVID was in there. I was turning 30 and I was like, I'm burnt out. Like I've been doing this forever.
Absolutely.
And kind of the same thing. Like I was relying on those endorsements. Like the pay just wasn't quite there. And I was like, as much as I love it, at the end of the day, like this is the time to try something else. So I did. I got a role in a movie. I was doing that. And then, kind of the same thing. Like, I got back into radio and I was like, okay, this is the reset that I needed. Like I needed a reset because I fell back in love with it, and I feel like, you definitely still love radio and you're still doing radio. Yeah. But I think you're at that point where it's like you're going to go there and you're going to see them, you're going to work with them, and you're going to be like, wow,
inspired.
I love this even more now.
Right. I've only been with them for 2 weeks and I feel inspired again. They're having fun. They're having great conversations. No one's holding them back, and that's just what was happening at my old station, which once again is fine. Not what I wanted.
And you get their entire family behind you. The Miguel and Holly family.
The Miguel and Holly family are like they are mobilized.
Yeah,
they've
man,
been the sweetest people ever.
They come from Tampa, Florida, but they still support them out there.
Yes.
I mean, listen, if they want to follow all of us on social media, I ain't gonna say no.
Miguel and Holly
How you doing?
We cousins if you didn't know.
I learned Miguel's mac and cheese recipe, so I can.
Okay.
All right. Still unseasoned. Just kidding.
Yeah, you're right. It's definitely unseasoned.
I think this is a really good, conversation, because I feel like this is something that kind of all of us kind of need to get out.
Yeah, well, it's a conversation that I think people are more and more freely having. I was reading an article about Gen Z and how Gen Z is way more open with sharing their salaries.
Right.
Yes. Like back in the day, like, you were like, you didn't talk about it. But now it's like, I make this much. I made this much. And, I think companies are starting to recognize that because they have to. Because the people are just putting it on blast.
Right. I know, maybe I'm just used to it because of the DJ world in Orlando. They don't care. They're just like, I get paid this.
Right.
Throw it in your face.
Did you see the girl? But there's a girl, I literally just saw her story on TikTok that she hopped on social media. She talked about her salary. She was like, she was making like over $100,000 a year. And she was like, I make this and I make this. And like, she basically kind of broke down how she made her money or whatever. And the company fired her. And they're like, yeah, because you got all this attention on TikTok, we feel like you would like kind of tell some secrets or whatever. And she's like, but what exactly did I do? It's my salary. This is my business that I can put out there, and I'm, telling other people how to do this. And she literally got fired. I saw it on TikTok the other day.
And the sad reality is it's only a matter of time before that fear, like that way of thinking is going to be gone, because they're not going to be able to ignore the fact that like we're a generation that's like, we watched our parents work their asses off to only have everything come crashing down in the mid 2000s. It's like, that ain't going to happen to me.
Right.
I mean, once I have once I got a family to support, like I'll do whatever I have to do to make sure. So if I have to be open and honest about what I make so that I can get to the next level, then that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Money is a huge part of the Great Resignation, as we've been talking about, but also the substance, the quality of your work, and is also just as important. And for me, it was time for me to do something that I loved, but I wanted to do it my way, or at least join a team that does radio the way that I love to do it, and have fun and have authentic conversations. I couldn't talk about anything that was important to me in 15 seconds. And like I said, the first time, that is okay if that's what you want to do with your station. It just wasn't for me.
Right.
So I think a lot of Gen Zers are also doing that as well. Like if it's not filling their soul, if it's not making them happy every single day, what's the point?
Which I love that the world is kind of turning in that way. I've always had that mentality. I never gave a crap about if I didn't like.
Your face said everything.
Oh my gosh, you are so right. Like the corporate game. Me and Will would literally have to sit with this one and be like, all right,
because
we in a meeting. I know you tired right now, but you can't be in the meeting like this. Like, can you try to smile? And he'd be like,
no, but naturally, I mean, like I smile and stuff, but and I'm always like full of energy, but no joke, I'm really like an introvert, bro. I like to be cuddled up in my bed. I don't want to talk to nobody. I got a bubble. Get the fuck out of my bubble.
Yeah,
like I'm like bubble. Thank you. Thank you. It's not bigger than your bubble, but it's fine.
That's true.
I will check.
Yeah, but I've never approached a job or an opportunity with the incentive of like, this is how much I get paid, and if I'm not going to get this paid, then I'm not going to do it. I've never done that. I've always took it as an opportunity to learn, opportunity to grow from. Like, if I'm having fun and I love what I'm doing, I really don't give a damn about how much I'm getting paid at that moment.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like the money will always come when it comes, and I feel like it's dope that these Gen Zers are like, they have that mentality now. They rather have like 7 different streams of income than to settle at one place and be miserable.
I just get concerned because I feel like, we're not going to have doctors and lawyers and teachers because everybody wants to be on TikTok.
No, for real, because everybody is doing that sort of stuff. And even with our industry, no, we're not going to have radio people. We're not going to have TV people.
Yeah.
Because even I remember being in those meetings, it's like, okay, does anybody know somebody that can come and help us?
Oh no!
Does
in the next,
anybody know somebody?
The next 10 years, I feel like in the next 10 years, we're not gonna have like regular TV. You know what I mean? I was watching Hulu the other day, and I'm just like, a commercial popped on. I'm like, I miss commercials. I miss sitting down. I miss sitting down. It goes to a commercial break, and you're like, oh shit, I gotta go like to the bathroom or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like everything's gonna be streamed. Nobody's gonna have a regular TV.
There was actually,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think it was Netflix was having this conversation about TV, and they're like, the death of TV is coming because everyone's streaming.
Yeah.
And sadly to say, like, it might happen for radio too. Like, I can see the radio industry condensing down to like maybe like a good like handful of good players in the business, and it's just going to be syndicated throughout the entire industry.
It's happening now.
It's already happening now. It's because
slowly
everything's become so corporate, and that's okay if that's what we're doing with these companies, but I also feel like if you're also going to do that, you have to move the company forward and move the technologies forward. I remember I said this when we were, getting let go from our job. I literally said that. I'm like, if radio can get to a place where, we change the way the ratings are being done, you can literally see in real, like for this podcast, I can literally see in real time who's listening, how long they listened, when they punched out, what time it was, what state they were in, what city they were in, what part of the city. I can see all of that data based on your cell phone.
And it's just wild how they rate who's listening to who on the radio, because it's like one moment we're killing it, literally a month later, it's like we are garbage in the city.
Exactly.
Remember that time? It was like every single Latino listener is not listening to you. That's what they said. They said we had
based on the ratings.
We had no Latino listener. Meanwhile, Maria is calling us every 5 minutes on the radio station. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this makes zero sense to me.
There has to be the investment.
I think somebody exactly.
It has to be it has to come from the corporate people. It has to come from the people that want radio to work because it can, it should, and it will.
It honestly can. Yeah. It's free. You can literally hop on the car and hit this. Spotify you have to pay for. Yep. Apple Music you have to pay for. Right. Amazon you have to pay for. You know what I'm saying? YouTube Premium you have to pay for. You can get YouTube, but it doesn't have the ads. You have the ads. You know what I'm saying? All these other avenues. Pandora, you gotta pay for.
Yeah.
All these tune-in, you gotta pay for. Do you have to pay for tune-in? I can't remember. But anyway, the point is, you gotta pay for all these apps.
Tune-in?
Radio, you can literally hop in the car and it's
correct.
A button.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the big conversation they're having is where's the young talent, and they're right here. They're turning to their own phones, their YouTube, the social channels.
I'm really excited to see where all this is going for you, Kelvin. For real. We're not talking shit, but we love radio still.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. Like I'm big on like I like to see my people win.
Yeah,
see everybody win, but when it's my people, it's like, damn it. And you're going to somebody that's like, you're not just going to anybody.
You're going to a really good place. You know we know the family you're going to because they cultivated us. Right. I went to college with Miguel. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be in really, really, really good hands. So it's just really cool to see you grow. And that's my little private chain. Y'all know I used to sit with him and his radio
little
stuff.
air checks.
Like he literally sound like a little Latin me. I'd be like, look at this.
Dog, I miss air checking and like doing shit like that. I miss that so much.
For those that don't know what air checking is, that's when you basically get critiqued.
Yes. It's the worst thing in the world, actually.
Like they literally take your audio from you being on the radio and you sit with somebody and they literally comb through it and they're like, okay, so how can we improve?
And they're like, this was good.
I hate when they would repeat it. Let's hear it one more time.
Oh my God.
What do you think would be better? And I'm like, I don't
want to listen to myself.
Yeah, it's cringy for you,
so
right?
Cringy.
It's always cringy.
But I would like to critique. See, at one point in my career, I'd like to get to that place. You know,
I'm a big guy on like teaching. I love teaching. No, for real. Like I told Annie this. Like if I could, like I would be a teacher. I love teaching. Like I love finding ways.
I don't know. The last time you were around a child, you threw a speaker at his head. So I'm not real sure.
But I did hear that.
I wasn't teaching him anything.
You sure did. You taught him never to come in your house again.
Right.
And guess what?
Well,
he learned.
I don't know. Your door was unlocked today. When I got here, your door was unlocked.
He learned.
Did you
You didn't learn.
It's fine. He learned. That's all that matters. Okay.
It's another lesson Kevin's putting out there.
Whatever. But I like finding ways of like teaching people. Yeah. That's my thing. I loved air checking so much. I loved like sitting down, like trying to pull like the personality out of people.
Right.
Yeah. That's
so dope.
And I think at the end of the day, I know that we have said a lot in this episode of like, our frustrations with the industry that we're all from. And at the end of the day, it's like we all still do love this career and we all do still love this industry.
Right,
we just would love to see more changing happen faster.
Yes.
But there's opportunities out there. I think Kelbin, you're a perfect example that, just because you're doing what you're doing now doesn't mean it's the perfect fit. You'll find that perfect fit. It may come in a couple weeks. It may come in a couple years. It may be in Miami. It may be in Charlotte. But you'll get there as long as you keep your eyes open and see that opportunity and take it.
Yeah, and I love that too because that's another thing that I saw somebody on social media talking about this the other day. They were saying that it's okay if what you dreamed of doing, your dream job or whatever that is, it's okay to if you get there and you're like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
That's not.
Oh my God.
That's not it. This is not it. Or you know what? Maybe I should shift directions. It's okay to shift. Yeah. You can be 50 years old and shift. I mean, you have so many examples of people who hit it big when they turn 75 or 50 or whatever, and they finally found their stride and finally found whatever it was they were passionate about.
The thought of that is scary. But when you're actually in it and you actually understand and feel, hey, this isn't what I really want anymore, it's actually very therapeutic.
Yes.
Like I was terrified of moving and going to another place in a new company. I don't like doing that. But when I realized I wasn't happy, and of course it was Miguel and Holly, I was like, okay, like this is going to be great. So I'm super appreciative.
It's freeing.
It's
definitely freeing.
And it's growth. It's growth.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just there, and it like you said, it is so scary when you have that. You wake up that morning and you're like, I don't love this.
Yeah.
And you're like, what do I do now? And when you come on, when you're on that other side of like, oh, I found it. Oh, I figured it out. It is very freeing.
It's freeing. And then when you get rewarded for taking it, taking things into your own hands instead of letting other people decide your fate, that's also such a good feeling.
Period.
Like we've talked about this before, but when I was in a situation kind of like I was in a situation where something was promised to me. And, like sometimes these corporate companies, they do that. They dangle the carrot in front of you. That happens sometimes. And so I literally was saying, hey, I'm considering other options. And, sometimes people, you got to call their bluff.
They need a little push.
So I literally quit. And when I say it was the scare, I remember my heart was beating. I was sweating. I almost cried. I was like, what am I going to do if this doesn't work? Whatever. I literally put my 2 weeks in. When I tell you that day, I had the full-time contract that was promised to me.
That's crazy.
That day, hours later.
It should not be that way. It should not be that way.
Yeah.
But even doing that, I felt good because I was like, I took this into my own hands. You know what I'm saying? I made this decision for me. It wasn't a situation that corporate came down and was like, oh, we want you to do this. It was like, no.
I feel like that was the first time I've ever seen Danny not care about her job ever. I'm not kidding.
But you get to a point where you're just like, I don't know how much more I can do, and I don't know how much I can take. And it is growth, because once you get through that, you're like, I did it.
Yeah, and at that
and
point,
I can do it again.
And I wasn't in a good place at that point. Big shouts out to Renee. I was living in Renee's house. I'm about to cry.
I love Renee.
I was living in her house. I was like making $10 an hour. I was hosting clubs with Kevin on the side trying to make money.
I was breaking my pay in half.
It was crazy. It was crazy. I was going on auditions. I did get some good auditions though. I was in a TV show.
Yeah, you were.
Shouts out David Makes Man. I was in that.
I'm bitter about that because I auditioned for that show 7 times and didn't get it.
I was gigging. I was trying to do the acting thing. I was just trying to get it. I was substitute teaching.
Right.
I was driving back and forth to Tampa, so I wasn't like in a great financial place where I felt comfortable doing that at all. No, but it still felt good. I was like, I did this on my terms. I made this happen. So I'm happy for you to take that journey. You didn't get fired. You didn't get let go. You're like,
no, ma'am.
I'm making this decision on my terms to do what's best for me in this moment.
Yes.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to do those things.
And now CJ's doing my old radio show, but we don't have to get into that.
So can we talk about that? Because Kelbin and CJ, not that specifically, but Kelbin.
We used to
and
take
CJ,
jabs at each other on Power.
They always have this. They have this frenemy thing going on.
It was like the Supremes. What show was that from? Where it was like you can only have one. Yeah, American Horror Story. You can only have one Supreme. So it was like whoever, and it was like I would always come on right after him, and so like his last break of his midday show would always be either a dig at me or it'd be like talking about something I did on social.
Yes,
and it was so funny. I do miss it. That was great.
But I would compliment you too. You did. It's like a mix of both.
You did.
No, on paper you look like somebody we would probably not get along, but like I literally I'm like he's so fun
on paper,
and he's so nice.
On paper,
Get used to it. There's a lot of this in Charlotte.
Yes, mama. Don't I know it?
A lot of flannel.
But then on the flip side, it is a southern place, so I hear barbecue is good.
Listen, Tupelo Honey. They did not pay me to say this. Tupelo Honey is a delicious restaurant in the South End. You have got to go there. They have great
I've heard the food, and then I'm seeing Miguel post all the food videos, so I'm like, I feel like the food is really good.
Listen, he's a foodie, so I know he found a bunch of places.
Right. That's one thing about southern towns. Like,
go to the South Park Mall too if you want to feel poor.
I love that for me.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's bougie.
South
you want to feel poor.
It's called South Park.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's a bougie area, so it's not like, hey, Kenny. It's like,
you kill Kenny.
I know. I got excited for a second. I was like, there's a real South Park.
Yeah. So no, it's a great city. So we have a place to come. We can visit the Queen in the Queen City.
Yeah,
I would love that.
Please do. I have 3 stories, baby. It's a townhome.
Oh yes.
Oh,
okay, welcome to the light.
It's not that bougie.
He's making money.
But it's 3
I'm
stories.
sorry.
Like I like to say, let me host something.
I can borrow $1.
The 3rd floor is actually the balcony, so it doesn't really count as a living space.
Okay.
Okay.
But he got a rooftop.
It's a really great place to smoke. Here at the podcast, what you gonna do?
Sure, smoking. Is the only thing
I
you
just
can
took
do on
your
a
I just took
balcony.
your job in Miami. Apparently, I might be taking your job in Charlotte soon.
That's funny. That's funny stuff, man.
Well,
Yeah.
Kelbin, we wish you the best.
Thank you.
It's gonna be
Absolutely.
weird not seeing you like in because you're so Miami. Like you are so Miami.
You about to become real North
No,
Carolina.
actually, I don't even know, honestly, and I've told people this, the only place I would ever feel like I could move to is San Diego. That's the only place I feel like I've ever told myself. But I can't go to a place that's just not multicultural and like, you know, like
They say it's diverse. They say
Charlotte
it's diversified.
Charlotte's really diverse.
Yeah, Charlotte's
They
a
say.
growing city.
They
Charlotte's
say.
been a growing city
Well,
for a while. A lot of
yeah.
going on in
my
Charlotte.
question to you, like, I know this is it's probably not the end all be all for you. Mm-hmm. But do you feel like it could be or no? Like, do you feel like
My intention is for it to be my end all be all, just like the other
Really?
job was.
Okay.
You know, so and it
Yeah,
changes, and it changes. My purpose right now is to help them grow their show to become the biggest thing ever. And that's what my job is right now. And then if whatever may happen, changes the direction. But as of right now, yes, that is my end all be all. Make it the best thing ever, and have a great time doing it too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Aw.
I love this for you.
Thank you.
Hey, that's CJ.
Love this journey for you.
I love this for you.
And I love you guys
I
so
love this
much
for
too.
you. It's great.
I love this journey.
I love this for you. Oh no, you gotta
Ew,
do that.
Kelbin.
Ew, you gotta do the boop boop.
Oh, you got a boop. You got a boop.
Reese knows. But anyways, I wanted to say thank you guys for like doing all of this because I know y'all don't know what time they got up to do this. But I really, really appreciate it. I'm in the middle of my road trip right now to
Thank you
Charlotte.
for stopping.
No,
Yeah.
thank you guys for having
had
me.
hours and hours to drive, and you came to be on our show as our first guest.
Yay! I literally had FOMO because CJ is really taking my spot here.
I'm taking all your spots, girl. Just wait. Oh, hold on. I got a call with Miguel later.
You don't replace something else I did. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I really love you guys all so much, even CJ. And I had to. And to be fair, it's the last part of the podcast, so I wanted to fit in a few jabs.
Yeah.
But no, I'm super grateful for you guys, for your friendship, for your mentorship, for your leadership, for your kindness, and just everything else that you guys have given me. I'm like super grateful. I feel like I don't deserve it because that's that imposter syndrome. But I love you guys so much. You guys are like so special to me.
Why
So,
are you
Kel-
taking out tears?
Because Kelvin is leaving. So I feel like Kelvin and CJ should get out their frustration.
Oh, we're about to do
Actually,
this.
yes. I would
feel
love
like Kelvin
that.
and CJ
Wait.
should get out their frustration, and me and Kevin can
I don't have any
Oh
frustration.
my
He does it. He really
God.
does it.
They
I already got his job.
They have this shady. They have this shady thing.
Shade.
They have this shady thing that they always do.
I already have his job.
That was really good. But that's why I like to banter with him because he goes back and forth. He doesn't take it so
I mean,
serious.
Alright,
it's clear
so-
that he takes it.
Okay,
Tell him.
so press pause.
My mother.
So press pause for a minute so you can frame this up so they can do the tortilla slap.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. This is not
Okay.
fair.
Okay, hold on.
Let me back up. I don't want to get hit.
Hold on. Let's see.
Kevin told me to hold on. So
You
I gotta
get
wait.
one good
There you
one.
go. One good one.
I'm trying to find the not hard spot, and I'm gonna hold that. All right, ready? Here we go.
Ow! Jesus!
Because it's whole wheat.
My God! Fucking bruise over that. I'm
That was
twitching.
like, wait, that was like when Kim Kardashian slapped Kourtney Kardashian. They left the makeup on the wall.
My eye twitched.
Yeah.
Are you ready, bitch?
Okay.
Alright. I do want to fold it. Ready?
There you go.
Did you let go?
I did. It broke. I did it so hard. Do another one. I want to do one more.
Okay.
Ow! Jesus!
Yo, that sounds like it hurts, bro.
It kind of does.
Yeah,
All right,
gay
all right,
crime.
You get one more.
All right.
Okay.
I feel
Oh
this
my
one.
gosh.
All right. Ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Why are you twitching?
Oh my.
Do it again.
I was just. I was gonna say.
Thank you.
There you go.
We call that the last jab.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Weird. If you like the episode, definitely subscribe.
Yes. If you liked that. Did you like that?
Say that one more time.
You like that, Daddy?
Yes.
Bye. Subscribe.